So we're in the midst of shelf number 4 here. This is tier 3. And as you can see, I've got an eclectic mixture of toys that I've collected over the past couple of years. Some of these are quite old. Some of these, this is quite old. Some of these are a little newer. But we'll go over them and I'll try to explain and remember where a lot of them came from. Let's get started. So I bought this at a Renaissance festival in Xenia, Ohio. It is just a flintlock pistol. It is a fake one, but you can cock them back to a certain point, and then you got 2 triggers. 1, 2. I thought it was pretty cool. It's very hefty. It's wood and brass and several different metals. You got a fake tamper here for loading your shots into the barrel, and then you just tamp it. It's, of course, stuck. It's just there for decoration. But you've got your mechanisms here. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool, and I kind of keep it on my shelf. You know, and that's to keep the, I think that's to keep the powder dry when you're firing. And then, of course, these two are, they're rubber and cork here to make it so it's not so loud, but you can... I'm not really a gun person, but I always thought that these more or less utility-based guns were always kind of cool. Of course, it makes a great hammer. But yeah, so this is my gun that I bought from a Renaissance festival. And then we've got Spawn. So let's talk about Spawn here. This is the only other Kickstarter that I backed, other than Rift Tracks, is the McFarlane Spawn characters. I just think that the character is really fun, and I fell in love with the HBO series back a long, long time ago. It's just an interesting series of a very tortured individual, and then the movie's actually really good. I enjoyed it. Myself. This cape is amazing. It's hinged at the back, so you've got this really fun... Whoops. We're going to be dropping a couple of things here because I didn't remove this because basically these are... All 3 of these came in clamshells. And I'm going to have to figure out how to but that's a Spawn. That's his bottom for his foot there. It's got several different things, like... Oh, there goes another piece of foam here. Suppose that can... Yeah, foam can come out. He's got 2 different heads per sculpt here. I actually did a photo kind of review of each one as I unboxed them. It's on my Instagram. I'll link my Instagram in the bottom there. But I thought this clubbed foot was really hilarious. But then we have him, and then these other 2 are in the boxes because that's just where I kept them. Here's an uncolored one. The other one came like this, except, let's see, does he have a second head in there? I think he should have a second head in there somewhere. But he's come with various bits and parts. There's nothing on the back. But what's really nice is this clamshell opens, and everything just comes out, and you can put everything right back, and the clamshell goes right back together like it wasn't touched. Except you do have those little rubber twisty ties, basically, that hold everything together. But yeah, he's got real chains. And then there's this one over here, which is kind of cool. Minus the club foot. A couple more bits and pieces in there. He's got a machine gun. The cape and everything is just so cool. It's a very dynamic, very posable figure with a lot of different pieces. And these 2 sit beside him as the main character with his cape wide open. And then if you got to a certain tier, you got this Todd McFarlane hand-signed little plaque. And then a couple other pieces. This is his kind of Fifth Element hilarious gun. Rocket launcher, grenade launcher, machine gun, toothpick.
My favorite.
That kind of a thing. So, and really cool big sword that's very detailed. But yeah, that is my Spawn character, that are on my shelf. So over here is one of my favorite muscle cars. This is, oops, sorry Spawn, my bad. Your cape, very large. This is a Plymouth Superbird, one of my favorite muscle cars. I've always had a soft spot for Plymouth and Dodge old muscle cars, from the Dodge Charger to the Dodge Dart to the Plymouth Roadrunner. This is just a wonderful piece of engineering and a very hilarious one, because this car was made and sold to the public so that Plymouth could use the design for NASCAR, because the restriction for NASCAR was the car had to be a production car. And of course today, that's not necessary. Well, I mean, it is the case, but you're not going to be able to, unless the stickers are on there correctly, you're not going to be able to tell that fiberglass body from anything else. But this was a genuine, and the seats move back and forth. There's a little place right there for the seat belt to hook in, the shoulder belt, because this is a bench seat. And there's no B-pillar, so it would come out of the seat over here, I do believe. Or no, wait, I'm sorry. I'm completely wrong. That's a lap belt. So the lap belt was down here, and it would just buckle over here to the other side. And that is a bench seat, though, by the way. But yeah, so it was a lap belt. So the lap belt would come over and then belt you in. This was before shoulder belts. This was before unleaded gasoline. That whole chestnut, those headlights popped out and looked fantastic. I just love this die-cast model from Hot Wheels. Look how cool that is. Look at that big wing. I mean, you think wings are ridiculous now. They are. But, you know, I mean, that was ridiculous back in the day. And look, you can even kind of see back here in the back. Let's see if I can do a zoom. Can you do a zoom? Yeah, just a little bit. Back here in the back, you can see the hand rollers for the back glass. So between the door having its own manual roll up for the windows, so did the back end. So this part came up as well. And I think they had a strip of rubber that met in the middle. But yeah, that is just, I just love this car. It's one of my favorites. So let's talk about this real quick. This is just basically a letter opener I bought at the Renaissance Festival. Probably not the same time as the Flintlock, but I just thought it looked nice and unique and fun, and I like the dragon, and you know, I was into swords at that point. Now we've got Gene Wilder as Young Frankenstein. What a wonderful movie. I love Young Frankenstein. Such a great film. And Gene Wilder looks fantastic. This is a wonderful recreation of his face. 14 points of articulation. I'm sure those wrists twists and his arms move and his elbows go and his head moves, and probably got some articulation in the ankles. But I really love this. And these come from Mego. What knockers. And we've got Peter Boyle as the monster with his top hat, because he's putting on the Ritz. He just looks so cool. And the Peter Boyle, he's so good. And in this film, I mean, I don't know why they didn't have Academy Awards for this film. It was such a great film, and it was such great satire. And then they did poor Marty Filman dirty here. I mean, look at that. That is a caricature. I mean, I don't know how else you would, I guess, do Marty as Igor. But boy, I mean, that's just Madam. Certainly. You take the blonde and I'll take the one in the turban. Last on our shelf of wonders is something that I really love, but I'm also incredibly disappointed in. This, of course, is Goliath from the Gargoyles. It's the Disney series from the 90s. I'm going to get him out of this. I bought this separately because I thought he would look great posed like this. And with his wings out, he's incredibly top-heavy, and these wings are not. It suffers from the same issues that Hawkman figure I showed several days ago has. He's got some wonderful articulation. His feet are flat here, so he does have a way of, kind of sitting. I wanted him in a flight pose, though, but I'll tell you what really disappointed me. His head, it's always hunched down like that. You can't bring it up any higher than that. I mean, you can bring it down like that, but it will not go any higher than that. So it always looks like he's looking down, which is really strange because the promotional material showed the head being much, higher up and able to look around. So it's disappointing in that, but it's just a beautifully sculpted figure by NECA. Something else, these claws are incredibly sharp. I'm sure there's a bunch of my DNA. This is a very pointy figure. It's really, it's almost dangerous. The way these talons are. I mean, that is sharp. It should come with some kind of plastic thing on each one to keep children from, hurting themselves. But the wings attach to the back, and the hair, depending on the pose. Oh dear, I've lost one. Hang on. And the hair is so stiff. And you have to have it like this when you've got the wings in. If you have them off, which, what's the point in having a Goliath? And I mean, his head still looks down like that. There's little to no articulation here. But, I mean, why have a Goliath if his wings are going to be off like that? I mean, sincerely. But still. It's still a great figure. Got his tail. I think he's got 2 tails. It helps him stand up when he needs to stand up. But hey, he's cool. I saw him, and then they've come out with a bunch of other ones. And because of my experience with this one, I don't think I'm going to pursue the other ones. But Goliath, one of my favorites. Very cool. Goliath wants his wings dusted, so let's get started on that, huh?